Welcome, everyone. This is Joe Dager, the host of the Business 901 podcast. With me today is Dr. Keith Sawyer, one of the country's leading scientific experts on creativity. Dr. Sawyer is the Morgan Distinguished Professor in Educational Innovations at the University of North Carolina. He has published 14 books, most notably, or at least to me, is his book Group Genius, that showed us to be more creative in collaborative group settings, how to change organizations for the better, and how to tap into our reserves of creativity. He followed that book up with Zig Zag, which identifies the 8 stages of the creative process and contains over 100 techniques to enhance your personal creativity. Dr. Sawyer, I'm honored that you could join me today.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Well, I've enjoyed your work tremendously. Zig Zag grabs the idea of creativity as a way of life. I think we talk about not being a big insight, but rather a collection of small ideas. And it's the idea of bringing them together is my synopsis of the book. But I'm going to ask you a question right at the very beginning. Why do we all struggle with turning that creativity on and off, or should we be?
Part of it is just the misconceptions that hold us back. Creativity is not mysterious. Creativity, as you say, it's a way of life. It's a process. Some of these beliefs about creativity actually do interfere, like the belief that creativity comes from a big flash of insight. So then if you are waiting for the big flash of insight, then, really it's not going to come because it's mythical. Creativity is based in these very small moments of thought, small ideas that come every day. And there are a set of habits, a set of practices that we can engage in that make it more likely that we'll have these ideas. Part of what holds us back is the focus, narrow focus on one thing instead of being open to potential connections and ideas around you. But we all have that potential within us. It's just a matter of finding out how to realize it.
Well, maybe we can't turn creativity on and off, but there's moments that we have more of it.
I like to call it a deliberate process. People who are exceptionally creative are consistently creative because they do engage in these habits and practices, these ways of thought. So it's not rare in a life that is engaged creatively. So I wouldn't say so much that you're turning it on or off, because this particular way of going through the day, it's really on all the time. And that's the goal, right? That's the goal for us, is to engage in a process of deliberate creativity where you really don't know when it's going to happen, but you begin to trust the process and you know that it will happen. When you engage in this creative process, you're consistent and you're deliberate. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's off during the workday and it's on the weekend. If you're really engaging in that creative process, it happens. It's a way of life. It's all the time.
I'm dying to ask you this question, okay? And I just, it probably fit in later in the podcast better, but I just got to ask it now. Is that, we think of this idea of bringing this big group of people together, having this brainstorming session, okay, putting all the Post-it notes on the wall, and we get this aha moment. Tell me how you view this process, maybe from a problem-solving aspect, and then another from maybe a breakthrough idea process.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm a big advocate of groups. Most of my research has been on group creativity and specifically improvisational performance. I myself am a jazz pianist playing in jazz groups. It's very much an ensemble art form. And then when I was in Chicago in graduate school, I started to study improvisational theater groups, where you have ensembles of actors on stage improvising a scene together. And what I've realized as I've continued that research into business organizations is that this model of improvisational creativity aligns very well with successful organizational teams. So think about the key characteristics of improvisation. Everybody in the group is contributing, right? They're all making offers and they're saying things and they're enacting certain characters. And then each person's action leads to a response from another one of the performers. And that response drives the scene forward. So those ideas build on each other over time and drive the process in a way that one person couldn't do it alone. It becomes fundamentally an ensemble art form. So think about how you would apply that to organizations. A lot of teams in organizations, they don't structure their group dynamic that way. Instead, they do what I call additive collaboration, where everyone puts their ideas on the table, and then you have 4 people in the group, you got 4 piles of ideas, and you add them together. Now you've got 4 times as many ideas. But that's not the real potential of a team, a creative team. It's a multiplying collaboration, right? Where you get more than 4 times the creativity of the members of the group if you're engaging in this kind of dynamic collaborative process.
What's the best way for someone to learn more about what you're doing, keeping track of it, and maybe information about the book? Is there a particular website or anything?
If anyone's interested in creativity and innovation, I hope you'll follow my blog, my Twitter handle. My blog post is keithsawyer.wordpress.com. You can link to everything from my website, which is my own name. It's keithsawyer.com, which will keep you up to date on my keynote talks and my consulting engagements and my latest publications. My Twitter handle is Dr. Keith Sawyer, Dr. Keith Sawyer. By the time I got around to getting on Twitter, Keith Sawyer was already taken. I got my domain name back in 2004. It's keithsawyer.com. That was before, I guess, people were thinking about it. So yeah, please go to my homepage, keithsawyer.com, check out my blog, follow me on Twitter, and you'll get the latest information about what's going on in creativity and innovation.
I admire your work. I'm jealous that you get to work on the North Carolina campus. I have hardly ever been to a prettier campus. And
it is beautiful here, yeah.
This podcast will be available in the Business 901 iTunes store and the Business 901 blog site. So thanks everyone for listening.